and welcome back to my channel. Oh my goodness, it is the freaking new year. Happy 2023, everybody. Happy New Year. I hope you had a lovely Christmas period. I'm feeling really weird because I haven't filmed a video in like 2 weeks. Anyways, I am going to be potting up some propagations. New year, new substrate for these plants. Get them going so I can see how far they go in a year. I don't know, I'm just curious. Like, why not give these plants a little bit of a new start? So gonna do that, and I'm going to be talking about my sort of like 2023 goals, my New Year's resolutions, kind of what I want to achieve and work on as a sort of plant collector throughout 2023. But really quick, first, if you're new here and you don't know me already, my name is Emma and I make houseplanting content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanting journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around and watch some more of my videos and subscribe to my channel. If you're not new here, thank you so much for rejoining. I very much appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy this video as well. Right, let us pot some stuff up, I guess. So I've got 4 things here. Maybe 5. I haven't decided if I wanted to pop one yet, but I've got 4 definites here. And I think I'll start with this anthurium. So this is an anthurium silver blush. And as you can see, it's V silver, very, 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 very silver. And it's been rooting in water for like a really long time at this point, and I think it is ready for some new substrate. I think I want to put this in semi-hydro with no drainage. So let me just really quickly get a cup that I can use for that. Right, sorry about that. Got a cup. Got 2 cups actually, but I only need 1. So gonna pot up this, and while I do, I am going to talk about my resolutions. So this first resolution probably doesn't come as a surprise to anyone. It is just to continue being mindful about my plant spending. I suppose I could like try and go on a plant ban again, but obviously that didn't work last year. My goal was to try and go all year without buying plants, just doing trades, and obviously that didn't happen, which is fine. If you want to go watch my plant spending video, I will link it in the clickable eye. So that's a fun one. You can see how much I spent on plants in 2022, but I think I've decided that at this point in everything that I don't think it really makes sense to try and not buy any plants, because like 1, this is my job, and 2, I love plants, and even though I know I'm addicted to buying plants, I've accepted that, and I think as long as I am mindful about my plant buying, I think that that is a fair thing, because the main issue is if I'm spending too much money on plants. I don't want to be spending more than I can afford on plants, and I don't think I did in 2022. I'm just going to use, actually I'm probably not going to use this water. I don't know when the last time I changed this water was. I'll put more water in it later. That was easy. I love semi-hydro for like such easy repots. It makes life so nice. That being said, I'm going to repot the rest in soil, so yay. I guess I'm going to do this one while I wait. So this is a head of hair cactus that I got from Claire in December, and it's got so many roots on it. Like, look at all those roots. It's crazy. And they're all very fine, so I need to be very careful about this so I can talk and be careful at the same time. But basically, like I said, I just want to be mindful about things, and I suppose I could set myself budgets for stuff. I am still going to be on my plant ban, my like full plant ban through January and February into March. I don't want to buy any more plants until March. I think that is still a reasonable goal for myself. I don't need any more plants right now, and like I have to focus on the collection that I've got. A lot of my plants are struggling at the minute, and I can do a video showing you more plants that are struggling if that's something that you fancy. Just because I basically over the Christmas period, after plant miss, I got quite sick. I had a nasty cough. I still have it a little bit, and basically I have been unwell for 2 weeks, my 2 weeks of break. So my plant care has suffered for sure during that time, and it's not been ideal. So there's definitely some things that I need to sort out in my collection that it's more important than buying plants at the minute. And even though I have like baskets in various shops online and whatever, I've been really good about not clicking the buy now button. Even through all the Boxing Day sales, oh my god, there were so many good deals. But I worked really hard to not get anything. So I think that that plant ban I'm sticking to. I think it makes the most sense to not try and buy plants over winter. I don't need to right now. The weather's still not great for shipping. So it's like, it just makes sense to continue doing that. But then once spring comes around, I think it's a bit unreasonable to expect myself to not buy any plants. Which I know y'all mentioned a lot in my spending video. And so I agree completely that it doesn't make sense for me to not spend any money on plants. This is my job. So that kind of goes into this next one. I think I'm gonna try and do a sort of one in, one out policy on my plants. I have filled most spaces in my home at this point. I don't really have much room for more plants. It's another reason why I'm not buying anything at the minute. And so I think I might try to, if I'm bringing in plants, to also get rid of some, because it's pretty overwhelming. Like, having this many plants is pretty intense. I've got like, I think I've got 175 potted plants, and then propagations in addition to that, and I've got tons of propagations. So I've got like at least 200 plants including propagations, and so taking care of all of those can be quite a lot. So I don't need to be adding more to that. We've got a small flat as well, so I think trying to do something like the one in, one out policy makes a bit more sense for me, because then I have to be really mindful about what I'm buying as well, because if I really want something, I can get it as long as I get rid of something as well. But that also kind of goes into another one of my goals, is to be more aware when I'm like losing interest in a specific plant, and instead of letting it get to a point where it is dying because I've stopped caring for it, because I don't care about it and like I'm just not feeling it anymore. Instead of doing that, I want to be more aware of it sooner, and like as soon as I start to feel like I'm not enjoying the plant anymore, give it to a friend or sell it. And as long as it's not got pests or anything wrong with it, I think that is perfectly fair. And just trying to be like less wasteful of my plants, because I do tend to get to a point where if I'm not liking a plant, I'll kind of just stop caring for it, stop making sure that it's getting everything it needs all the time, which isn't necessarily the best thing to do, and I know that. I know I shouldn't do that. And although plants are like technically disposable, I shouldn't think of them like that. I don't want to think about them like that, because if I can give a plant to a home that's gonna love it instead of letting it die in my home, like, it makes more sense. So if I'm doing like one in, one out policy, I think I'll have to be a lot more critical about things, as well as like if I'll be more aware of what I'm not enjoying at any point in time. And so there's several plants at the minute that I'm just not feeling, and I'm working on giving them a cull. I can make a video on that if that's something that you want to see. I did a little bit of one during plant miss, But I can definitely do more, because like some are just things I'm struggling with in general and I just don't want anymore. So anyways, I'm trying to work on getting rid of those and keep only the things that I really want to have and love in my collection. And I think that's going to make caring for everything a lot easier as well, and I'll be less likely to get plant burnout, which is important. So these roots are so freaking fine that it's like impossible to get all the moss off of them, which is kind of stressing me out. I suppose I could rinse them, but I don't really want to rinse them. So that's like kind of the main sort of plant spending goals that I have. Like I said, I could set a budget, but I don't think that makes sense for me, especially as plant prices are so like fluctuating. Like, if there's something that I really want that ends up being 130 or 150 pounds, I can get that. If it's more, I can get that. It's just I need to make sure I really like it and that I've got space for it. Because I definitely have fallen into the trap sometimes of buying plants that I don't know where I'm gonna put, and so you just need to be, I need to be aware. And being mindful of it is kind of the main gist of everything. And just paying attention. Which is sometimes hard, but that's okay. I'm also considering doing maybe not a no-buy for plant equipment, because I think that's dumb. If I need plant equipment, I need plant equipment. But maybe setting a sort of budget on it. I haven't really decided if that's something I definitely want to do, but I can't believe I spent like twice as much money on plant equipment and like stuff to maintain the collection last year as I did on actual plants. I should keep an eye on that, because even when I go on a plant ban and I don't allow myself to buy plants, I still allow myself to get plant equipment, because it's like, oh, I need this to take care of my plants. And so I end up spending the money that I would have spent on plants on like equipment that I don't necessarily always need. So I think, I don't know if I'm gonna set a budget or just be more, again, mindful of the money that I'm spending on equipment, because I don't want to, like, it's not a cheap hobby. This is an expensive hobby, and I need to just make sure that I'm not spending all of my money all the time. Okay, so there's definitely still moss on these, but it's just gonna have to be what it is. I got most of it off. And I'm just going to pot these in. Dun, 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 dun. Should I go super small? Is that too small? That's probably too small. Nah, that's fine. It's okay if it's a little bit pot bound. I'm okay with that. And since this is a jungle cactus, or an epiphytic cactus, I'm going to put it in, what's this, anthurium and orchid soil, because, yeah, it's good for like Hoyas, fishbone cactus, Christmas cactus, those kind of things, which are relatives of this one, I think, just other epiphytic cacti. So I think it should be fine with that. Basically a really chunky mix from Soil Ninja. Another one of my goals is to dust my plants more. I am not the best at reminding myself to dust. Like, I know that. And I think if I like properly add it to my morning routine, I know I've showed it in my ideal morning routine and I have gotten better at it. Not since then, like I've kept a bit more on top of it than I normally would have, and I think having the dusting gloves really freaking helps, because oh my god, dusting gloves, little like microfiber gloves, make it so much easier to dust your plants than having like a cloth that you have to do it with. It makes so much of a difference. So I think keeping dusting as part of my morning routine, like my general plant care routine, is going to be something that I definitely want to be doing. It'll keep my plants a lot healthier, and I think it'll work towards another goal of mine, which is continuing to keep my collection as pest-free as possible. I don't think I can eliminate all pests ever, because I don't think that's a reasonable task or goal, but trying to be more on top of pest control is something that is reasonable to do, and I think I can do so, and dusting a lot will help me achieve that, because this is going to be very top heavy. I'll have to put it in a sturdy pot. But dusting, like, if your leaves get really dusty, I know I did a whole video on this, but if your leaves stay really dusty, then you're less likely to notice if it does get pests, and pests are more attracted to neglected plants. So it's one of those things where it's just best to dust your plants, and I want to stay on top of it. That is like a really important goal of mine this year, and keep the pests at bay, because we don't need them. We don't need them. Right. It's a very awkwardly heavy plant. It's gonna need like a proper ceramic pot to go in. But it's fine. It's very happy. It looks good in there. Eventually it'll weigh itself down. Hopefully, like, these bits will weigh themselves down and it'll be fine. But for now, it's just like awkwardly sticking up. Cool. Cute. I'm gonna lean this against something back here. And then I'm going to pot up my Hoya Polyneura Broget that I got from the plant swap. They're very rooted. I've just had them in water, and I'm just going to put them in soil. I could, I suppose, in theory, put them in pond, but I really struggle with like semi-hydro and Hoya. I know people swear by it, but I just can't. So I'm going to be putting it in soil. Again, I'm going to use anthurium and orchid soil because, again, Hoyas are epiphytic as well, so it makes the most sense. But those are kind of like my main, like, general goals for collecting generally. That sounds weird, but you get what I mean, right? Like, as a plant parent, those are my main goals. I also have some specific goals, like plant specific ones that I want to like happen this year. One of which I have spoken about quite a lot is that I want to like really get a handle on like peperomia as well as cacti and succulents. There's some like really amazing plants out there that I've kind of just closed myself off from because I didn't feel like I knew how to take care of them, which is fair. I think that is the like smart thing to do, but I think at the same time I also want to expand my knowledge and work harder at learning something that I've previously like just dismissed as something that I can't do, which I don't think that's a great mindset to have put myself in. So if I learn how to take care of cacti and succulents and peperomia this year, I'll be very, very happy, and I'm trying really, really hard to learn and adapt, because I feel like I've gotten really, really good at like sort of aeroids and monsteras and philodendrons and anthuriums. Those just work for me in my home. I feel like I've got a good handle on those. And so I think I'm at a point where I want to push myself further to learn and grow as a plant parent. Pun fully intended. Really cute. That's gonna go in the Redsta. And then I have these, which is some Silveran Syndapsis. Quite rooted in there. I think I'll put that in there. And I won't use the anthurium soil. It doesn't quite make sense. I'll probably use monstera and philodendron because all of my other Syndapsis seem to like that. what I was saying though, another thing that I wanted to learn and try my hand at this year is pollinating anthuriums. I have started to try to pollinate anthuriums with my crystallinum and forgetii white stripe that were both inflorescing at the same time. I've attempted to pollinate them. I don't know if it will work or not. We will see in time, but it's never really been something that I really cared about doing previously. It was never like, I always used to cut them off. I think partially it was because my anthuriums were quite small and I didn't think that they were ready to like flower or pollinate, and I didn't want the plant wasting energy on like producing a flower because it didn't need to do that. So I would always cut them off before, but now I think I've gotten several of them to a size at which it makes sense to like properly try and pollinate them and grow some berries and grow anthuriums from berries. I have a couple that I'm growing from berries that are taking their sweet time. They're not like quick growers from seed. They do take their absolute time, which is completely fair. But I think that is something that I would really love to be able to do, is like actually get an anthurium to grow berries and then collect berries and then grow a plant from the seeds / berries of an anthurium. That is something that I think would be really fun to be able to do, and just like I said, further my plant parent skills and try something that I've not done before. Another specific goal that I have for a specific plant is to size up my big monstera. I got that monstera probably like September, October time, because it's big and beautiful and I love it. And I really missed my big monstera once I gave it away. I didn't miss that one, but I missed having one. Does that make sense? And so I got a new one from House of Kojo, and it does have quite large leaves and even some secondary fenestrations. So hopefully I can get those to keep growing. The last leaf it put out doesn't have secondary fenestrations. I think it might be just because it's still adjusting to my home and it's not getting tons and tons and tons of light where it is, but it's fine. We'll see. I want to try and get the secondary fenestration back and like maybe size it up even further. So I have put it on a moss pole so far and it is getting grow light, but got my fingers crossed that I can grow like a nice really big beautiful monstera, because I want to have a huge one so freaking badly. And then my last plant specific goal is to get my Hoyas to bloom. That is something that I've wanted for literally years now, and I've never actually had a Hoya bloom. I've seen them in other people's homes, but I've never actually had one of mine bloom. And I know I kind of just got into Hoya like in a big way sort of in 2022, and I got a bunch of smaller Hoyas, so I know like they're not mature enough necessarily to bloom, but I do have some that are a bit bigger, and especially like this one, my Crimson Princess, which I propagated from like 2 or 3 tiny cuttings. I would absolutely love to get those to bloom this year, because I don't know, I've never had it before, and I think it's gonna make me feel like an extra proud plant mom. And like, they're so freaking beautiful. I just want to experience it for myself and have the opportunity to have some beautiful Hoya blooms. So yeah, I know I do have some of my Hoyas have peduncles, but I think the main one that I would really love to bloom one day, I really want this princess to bloom. Like, if I can get that to happen this year, I will. I am going to stress them out in spring in hopes that it works, but who knows. But yeah, so I finished potting up my Silver Ann. Look at this beautiful pot of beautiful cuttings. It's just so freaking silver. This Silver Ann has such good genes. It's a bit dusty. Whoops. But yeah, I freaking love this one. I'm going to give it a good water in a minute. I'm going to give all of these a really good water, making sure they're nice and moist. But I think that is it. Those are all of my New Year's resolutions or goals, what I want to see from myself as a plant parent in 2023. I'd love to hear what your 2023 plant goals are, or your like normal resolutions. Let me know down below, and hopefully we can encourage each other to succeed, and hopefully y'all can hold me a little bit accountable because I'm telling you all this. So feel free to call me out if you see me making decisions that aren't in line with these goals. I don't know if I'm going to regret saying that, but I've said it now. So anyways, yeah, those are my goals. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Before I sign out, I want to give a massive thank you to my new patrons over on Patreon. So I wanted to say a big thank you to Justin, Megan, Katie, Lorna, and Julia. So thank you so much for joining the Good Growing fam. I really hope you enjoyed over there. If any of you want to join in on the Patreon fun, the link is in the description. Head down there and get some bonus content, some more personal connection with me. We can chat more often, likely. If that's something you're interested in, that's fine. It's only £3 and you get all the stuff. Yeah. Anyway, shameless plug over. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on other houseplanty things you'd like me to talk about in the future. Let me know your resolutions and subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye! You're too far away, but bye.